We're going to get started. It's 4:20 on October 2nd, Friday, and we're going to have a emergency meeting. We're going to have two separate meetings. First, we're going to convene as a board of canvassers, and I see that the entire board is present by Zoom. I'm at the Board of Elections, and we're going to first convene as a board of canvassers, and the first thing we're going to do is elect three officers. It's chairman, vice chairman, and secretary?
Correct.
Okay, is there a nomination for chairman? Go ahead, Nahid. Nahid?
Yes, I move.
Move what?
Second.
I didn't even hear the motion.
Here.
I move in Shannon as the chairman.
I second it.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other nominations? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. As vice chairman, I nominate Nahid Kozame. We have a second?
That one too. I'll second that one too.
Okay, David. Any other nominations? All those in favor of Nahid Kozame as vice chairman, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Nahid, you're going to nominate a secretary?
I move David Neiman, secretary for the council.
Okay, I'll second that.
I second.
Okay. Any other nominations? All those in favor of David Naiman as secretary, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so all those officials are nominated unanimously. Do we have a motion to adjourn the Board of Canvassers? I'm sorry, Kevin.
Jim, you wanted to go over what the schedule was going to be.
Yes, thank you. No, wait, no, this is important because we don't want to get lost. On Tuesday, October 6th, the canvassers will be meeting at the Plumgar Recreation Center at 10 a.m. All of the board is invited there. I'm going to be swearing them in as canvassers, but if you're not going to attend, we're going to have you on Zoom. Is that correct, Margaret?
Yes.
Because we're going to need a quorum to begin the canvass. So October 6th, 10 o'clock. If you can make it to Plumgar, that would be great. If you can't,
We're going to do it on MS Teams, the same as we always.
same as what we are today. We're going to have a Zoom meeting.
Jim, I can't. Jim, I can't. I have an appointment at the Williams Center, and I can't be there on the 6th.
Okay, but will we have a quorum? Anybody else have a problem with that?
Hang on, I'm
Is
checking.
that 10 o'clock October 6th?
October 6th at 10, but if you can't make it to Plumgar, it'd be a Zoom meeting like we're having now.
MS Teams.
Yeah, Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams, like we are today.
Just go through a roll call. Who's here?
I
Who's
cannot
going to be
make
there?
it. I cannot do Zoom either. I'm not available.
All right, who is not available on October 6th at 10, either in person or by Microsoft Teams?
Who is not available?
Not available.
I am not.
All right, Jackie's not available.
Nahid?
Nahid, you're not available?
It is not available. No.
Nahid, you're not available?
No.
Okay. So we're going to have 5 board members, either in person or by Microsoft Teams, correct? Okay, good.
Right.
Yeah, we really need that to happen because we need a quorum to open up the canvas.
Absolutely.
I'm in.
Okay, and then the next time that we're needed as a board of canvassers will be again by Microsoft Teams meeting, like we did in the primary, October 13th at 3 p.m. So I think the safest thing to do...
That one we've already done.
I am. What day of the week is that? Tuesday.
October 13th at 3. But what I'm going to do is that each time we get together, I'm going to, revisit the next date to make sure we have quorums.
But go through all the October
Is
dates.
that Tuesday? Do we show
Well,
up in
too far in
person for
advance.
that?
They need to reserve the dates.
Okay, yeah, just write these down, everybody. Board of Canvassers, October 6th at 10, October 13th at 3, October 20th at 3, October 27th at 3. November dates to be determined. So it's,
Wait, what was after the 10th?
you got the 6th, 13th, 20th, and 27, the last three at 3 o'clock. So there's 4 dates.
But the 6th is at 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
No, the 6th is at 10, but you said you can't make it.
No, I can't.
Okay.
Jim, can you remind them that I'll send the meeting
Yes, Lisa will send out the,
not too far in advance so there's no confusion, so I'll send it.
Lisa will send out not too far in advance each meeting date and information. We're all going to be like we are today, same device, same Microsoft Teams, so we're good. Okay, okay.
Tuesday the 6th is the only one in person?
Yeah, well, no, you can come to the board. I usually come to the board because I could walk here. But any one of the dates, you can come to the board. Yeah. Okay, so do we have a motion to adjourn the Board of Canvassers?
I move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
You'd rather have done this personally?
Is there a second? Alan, seconded. All those in favor of adjournment of the Board of Canvassers say aye. Aye. That's unanimous. Okay. We're now going to convene a Board of Elections meeting. And we have, I can see on the Zoom, and everybody's spoken, we have all of our members here. We have a quorum. And today's Board of Elections emergency meeting was for the board to consider the staff's recommendation for our canvassing plan. And at this time, I'd ask Margaret to make her report and recommendation to the board for our canvass.
The canvassing plan will be, I sent you last night a diagram of what the Department of Health has signed off on in terms of the public participation. It allows for 13 individuals with 3 media sites and of course an ADA area. The public, so the health department has signed off on the layout of the facilities. There will be public observation and there will be video streaming of the canvas at Plumgar. Because the state board has agreed that we do not need to scan ballots on the day they are canvassed, the canvassing will begin after IT has and operations has prepared all of the equipment for early voting and election day. This should be around October 22nd because the equipment will have to be prepared for delivery, and there will not be this issue with the carts being moved from one warehouse to another, and therefore the safety issues that have been raised are addressed. The canvas ballots will be secured in locked containers, sealed in accordance to the standards, utilizing tamper tape and other requirements that we normally use during the election. So it'd be date, time they were brought into the building, and secured. The advantage of this approach is it will be the following. It frees up IT to prepare the equipment without disruption, to scan the ballots when the election results cannot be posted until the polls close on election day. 2, it allows the public to be able to safely observe the scanning process in person. And 3, all aspects of the canvas will be available for person observation and virtual observation. And the media, of course, has a space for it. The rest of the schedule, public viewing, 13 persons. The ballot scanning will occur in the server room. 0 reports will be posted in the Windows Training Room 3 as we have done traditionally. Limited public observation will be permitted in the hallway to observe the scanning, and we will have video streaming installed also. And we will have the public make reservations via the website for this in-person observation to it is limited space in that hallway. So it's the basic plan that you adopted with the public observation piece built into it.
Margaret, let me just clarify then. So starting on October 6th at 10 o'clock, our canvassing will begin. However, we've gotten a green light from the state that we don't have to scan when we first open and process the ballots.
We can hold them.
So your plan is to have the canvass at Plumgar. So with that, that means that the scanners will be moved to Plumgar.
No, the
No?
scanners will not be.
They'll
They
be
will
here?
stay here.
Okay,
But we will not begin until
Then just-
October 22nd.
okay.
That is correct.
So the
Correct.
scanning won't begin until October 22nd. So
Got it.
by being on that date, we don't have the security concerns about,
Well, we don't have the safety concerns,
Safety
which
concerns.
is my concern.
and how many people will be allowed at the scanning site?
Here,
Yeah,
2 or 3,
okay. And the sign-up will be on our website?
yes. It'll be, Janet, as a secondary issue, we do have a,
I couldn't hear it.
okay, David, Jim asked, will people be able to sign up?
Well, how many people
And
will be at the
so-
scanning facility?
Okay, in the scanning here, we will have, and actually, we're trying to start it now. Janet has developed a sign-in page. If you go to our website, we have done a soft launch of the new website. And it does, at the bottom, next to rumor control, is the Canvas schedule, and it allows you to, it will permit you, I believe, if she's got the smart sheet up, otherwise, it's a phone call, and you'll be able to sign and make a reservation to, well, the first day, you know, obviously, we don't want people sitting around waiting to come into the room. So we are going to try to have reservations to make sure that we do not exceed the recommended 13 individuals and the 3 media sites, so people can call in. Likewise, we will do that for the scanning area.
What's the number of viewers that can view the scanning? Do we have a number on that?
On the computer?
No, to
Video
see we have
There's
13
only 13 people can go into Plumgar,
plus 3 press.
plus 3 press, and then for scanning, there's only so much space down there in that hallway. So we believe that 3 people could be observing.
And in addition to those numbers, will both the scanning at the canvas at Plumgar and the scanning here be live streamed to the public as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in terms of people signing up, will there be a limit of how long someone who signs up can sit and watch?
The board can give us guidance. We've gone back and forth anywhere from 2 hours to 4 hours. Generally speaking, it is rare when people stay the entire 4 hours. Staff thinks 2 hours would be reasonable, but if the board chooses to offer guidance on that amount of hours they want to permit someone to sit there, we're open to suggestions.
I guess that would depend on how many people may be lined up to come and see it.
That's a
I
possibility.
mean, if nobody's
That's why-
lined up and you have 13 people, they can sit there all day.
That's true, they could. They can call, as of right now, the Canvas schedule is up, and they have the VIP phone number that Lisa is calling until we get the smart sheet up so that they can sign up.
Can you explain that, please? Because I'm looking at the website right now, the one that you just directed us to for the canvas.
Mm-hmm,
And I see it says instructions for public observation.
mm-hmm.
And it says, so I gathered in the reservation system it's for observing either at Plumgar or at the scanning, right? Or is it just for Plumgar?
Right now, it's just for Plumgar because we won't
Okay.
have any scanning. And I have to defer to Janet on how she's going to set up the reservation system. Right now, what we wanted to do was to get something up as soon as possible so that right now we have a phone.
But I saw, we've seen 2 different documents that had suggested ways for dealing with if we have more people than spots. And I realize that we may not have more people than we have spots. But there was a prioritization that was suggested in the answers to the questions from the county council. And then there was, I don't remember precisely what was in the plan that we were given at our last meeting. And this is a different way of doing it if it's going to be first come, first served by web sign up. I wanted to get a sense as to whether, for example, do you anticipate that it's first come, first served to the world? But I gather it's not live yet. So like, is there going to be a moment at which people can sign up? Are we going to reserve spots for the Republican and Democratic parties, candidates, etc., or are they all vying for the same, 13 spots? I gather that the media is no longer part of that pool. They're in a separate category.
Yes, the board, okay, first of all, in the initial plan that was presented on the last board meeting, we did not include that specific element to the plan. It was brought up by the board on how, and that was a discussion point. I don't know, aside from the recommendation that we permit, that we build in a media spots, knowing that the media is only going to be there for 15-20 minutes and then they're leaving. We put in the 3 locations. We explained that to the Department of Health, that these people would be moving in and out, and they were agreeable to that description. I know that there was a discussion. I don't know if the staff heard a final decision. I know that there was a discussion that we allow representative from both major parties, or maybe all political parties, to have a representative there, and a representative from the candidates. We certainly are open to whatever the board's guidance is on that. All we really care about is that the 13 seats are, we only know that there's 13 seats. So if the board has a guidance on it, we'll recommend it.
To the discussion, there was in the material, in the answers to the questions from the county council that the staff prepared, there was a suggested prioritization, and I guess I want to know whether that's part of this conversation or whether it's just a question for the board to discuss today.
That was the board discussion on September 21st that Allison integrated into the answers. So we're open to whatever suggestions the board wants to do.
See, the thing is, I certainly think that the 2 central committees, Democrat and Republican, should have a priority representing the party structures. But if you had a reservation, a priority for every candidate, that's more than 13 spots right there.
Agreed.
Every candidate, including, the federal candidates, may send a representative, Trump,
Sure,
Biden.
we can't hear you anymore.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can.
Yeah, I certainly think that the Democrat and Republican central committees should be a priority because they represent the party structures in the county. But if you had every candidate as a priority, that's more than 13 seats right there. And then the public
Jim, can I offer a suggestion on that?
Sure.
That I think might be one that might meet with agreement. Maybe 2 of the 13 seats can be reserved, one for the Democratic Central Committee and one for the Republican Central Committee. And then it's up to them to kind of manage those 2 seats. And then the other would be on a first come, first served basis.
And then they can, what you mean, David, am I correct? Is that they can tell their candidates, they work with their candidates on it.
They can either work with, they can work with their candidates. Obviously, candidates can still send people.
Right.
they wouldn't be a
And
priority.
I'm really just going off the top of my head here, but I do feel like Jim does that, the party structure, well, let me backtrack. Once I have the floor for the moment, let me say that I think that this proposal is really good. I think that, that we raised a number of concerns at our last meeting, and I think that this proposal makes an effort to address, all of it. Or at least all that I can think of at the moment. So I'm going to have questions about different parts of this, but it's in the fine tuning, and I want to thank Margaret and the staff because I think that they put a lot of effort into trying to figure out how to address all the different things that we talked about at our last meeting. So that being said, I think 13 spaces, is great. One of my questions was whether the chart. It looks on the chart like we are now using the bleachers and not just chairs. Is that, did I read the chart correctly? And is
We
that
can-
what the health department said we should do?
We don't have a choice. We've got the gym, bench seats. They're moved in as far as they can, so we have to utilize the bench seats.
Okay, so it's the bench seats plus chairs that we bring, that the board, that you all bring.
Yes.
For the 13 spots, okay. Anyway, I didn't mean to jump the line, Jim, but I agree with you about the 2 spots, and I thought that it might be that if we did the 2 spots, that might at least solve that one issue. We could move on to whatever is next.
And I think that's a good idea. Designate 2 seats, 1 for each party, and have 11 others designated for the public. If a candidate wants to send someone in addition to dealing with their designated party representative, they would be just not a priority, but they'd be in the queue of the other 11.
And of course, they could watch it via video stream.
And it's also on video, correct?
Right. I guess I should have mentioned that that's also great, because I remember when we talked at the board meeting that it wasn't clear that we could video stream, and I'm glad to hear that we're doing that too.
The Plumgar is going to be video stream too. Okay,
Yes.
that's good. Good.
Yes, that looks good.
Any other comments?
I have some questions whenever it's my turn.
All right.
Well, hold on. Before we move on to that, does the board have a strong feeling of whether these reservations should be for 2 hours or for 4 hours? Because a decision needs to be made on that, so Janet can set up the reservation system. So, I mean, it doesn't make a difference, but if the board wants to make a decision on whether it's 2 hours or 4 hours, I mean, for the 11 public, because 2 of them are reserved anyway.
Can we start with 2, and then if they don't get filled, people can stay on? I hate to preclude people by closing the door at 4 until we know what sort of interest there's going to be. Does that sound reasonable? Again, keep in mind, I haven't been part of this before.
Well, and I was going to ask a question, which is, are we allowing people to only sign up for 1 2-hour slot for all of the time that we're canvassing, or are we going to do this like one day at a time? Because in general, my experience, we're not likely to have hundreds of people who are going to cycle through. We're going to have some people who are going to
Senator
want to
Kagan
come back.
says, it seems
much
like
more
folks
likely.
can be 1 hour to
So,
get a sense, better access for more people.
I didn't
give
know
them
whether
a
we want
choice.
to, the way that the page seems to be set up, it's allowing you to it's giving the dates in advance, and I don't know whether it's going to allow people to sign up for that far in advance so that I could decide now that I want to come on October the 24th. Or are we talking about,
Can we have a standby list?
we may have to limit how many slots we'll get somebody. I don't know how that goes.
We could try to establish a standby list.
Jim, do you want me to
I was gonna
Senator
say, if
Kagan's
somebody doesn't show up,
comment on record, or
give 10 minutes grace, and then.
Is she on the
somebody
line?
else-
she sent a message via Teams.
But is she on?
I think we need
She
some.
should be if she sent a message via Teams.
And if we make a
Shall I let her
decision today,
speak?
do
No.
we have to be
Just
stuck with it?
Read it in?
Reason,
Yes.
we can always revisit if things seem to be in need of attention, right? Right.
Well, just, it's been my experience that the public stays for a very short period of time, gets a sense for what is going on in the canvas, and then they leave. So 4 hours seems like a very long period of time to sit there and watch
Right.
people fill in
Right, we're
holes.
gonna have a few people, but you know, we have another option, which is that we could decide that some number of the 11 seats are for 4-hour slots and some number are for 2.
Sign someone?
No, we can't do that, David. It has to be 2 or 4. We can do a standby list. If somebody signs up and they wanna, are a no-show in the first 15 minutes, we let the next person,
Okay.
come.
My suggestion would be that we do them in 2-hour slots for the reason that Kevin just said, that we're gonna have very few people who are gonna do 4. But I would also suggest that we start off just doing it for like the first 2 sessions or something and see how it goes, because we're gonna be meeting on the 6th, we're gonna be meeting on the 13th. If we need to adjust, we can make an adjustment. Or maybe, I don't mean that it doesn't have to be exactly the first 2. I'm just saying I wouldn't make a decision for everything right now. I wouldn't let people sign up for, later October before we see how the system works.
So you want us to open it up just for the 6th and the 10th and open it up later? Can we do that?
Or the 6th and the 10th and or you could add the 13th because that's when we're meeting. Because if we,
Start with this 2. Let's
Right.
start with 2 and see what happens.
well, the only reason I'm saying 3 is because we have to have an opportunity to adjust, and we're not meeting between the 6th and the 13th unless we change that. So,
I also want to add a contingent, when you're thinking about it.
No.
Staff is going to be
The
so
public is gonna
incredibly
be
busy.
here on the
It's a really
13th.
important job.
No, he said it for the canvas.
Yeah.
This-
But we can't put too much.
Are you gonna have somebody assign?
Too much
Is it like a
space
20 person?
into this, having them change their mind.
Well, the video's
The
streamed
more
on
they
this
get there,
campus
I
in
think
this
that's
room.
the same.
No, but I'm just saying, are you gonna have someone from the staff assigned?
well,
To do
I think we have to
your
keep
part
in
of the
mind
campus?
No, no, to monitor the
the
sign-ups and
people
all.
that this is
Yeah, right now it's
most
her,
important for
until we
our
can get
public.
the
I feel like
decision
the
made,
staff is doing a
Boris,
very important
to
job.
get this up.
I
I need
think
the decision, how
overall
many
of
hours,
that,
and if
the
there's a
public
standby line.
need and right to see what's going on. So I'm trying to keep it as
Exactly, we
as
don't have to
possible.
make it too complicated.
well,
No.
if I could give my interpretation of what I think the subtitles were while Jackie was talking, it would be that if we do decide that we're going to do it for the first few sessions, that we not spend hours trying to figure out how to change it when we meet to talk about it. I've served with Jackie for long enough that I can even read between the lines. But I would just suggest that we do the first 3 so that we don't have to have another meeting. We'll see how it goes. If it turns out that it's going the way we hope it will, we don't have to make any changes. And I'm not suggesting that we're likely to make changes, but we also we have a little unknown here for a whole variety of reasons. We're doing a canvas before the elections we haven't done before. There's so much interest in the election process this year that we haven't had before. I think it makes sense for us to at least have the opportunity to change the system before everyone signs up. If we allow everyone free reign to sign up for the entire canvas, it'll be a lot harder to change.
No, I agree with David. Let me say, unless any other board member has a comment, Senator Kagan,
Jim?
yeah.
One quick comment to add to all that. And then, and it's something I can't even imagine that this would happen, but if something crazy happens, we can always call an emergency meeting and reevaluate. I'm saying I don't expect that, but, right? I mean, we can always
Yes.
adjust if we have to.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Senator Kagan, Senator Kagan sent a text, which I'd like Lisa to read in. As you know, Senator Kagan is probably our best friend in the legislature, so I look forward to her counsel.
So, yeah, Senator
We
King,
have lots of friends in the legislature, I want to make that.
No, we do, but Senator Kagan's been, Senator
I
Kagan,
was kind of loving on Jim Sarlik for the moment there.
She-
I understand. I am boosting Jim with you by saying that while we love you, Cheryl, we have lots of friends in the legislature that I do not want to feel slighted.
she has our back. And, well, if Cheryl's on the line, then maybe Cheryl, would you like to address this? Because I think your input is very interesting. Thank you.
So I agree with everything that has been said. I'm not sure that there's going to be a ton of interest, but that depends on the outcome and the issues that may or may not come up. And I agree that the staff is already going to be drowning and overloaded and doesn't want to have to deal with a bunch of administrative headaches. So I totally get that. But there might be some people, some reporters who want to hop in, take some pictures, interview 2 people, and then be gone. And in case there's a waiting list or a backlog and people are discouraged, maybe an hour is going to be enough for them, and they can check the box with their editor, and they're done.
So
So,
the media's in a different category. They're not, I don't know if they're going to have a sign up online for the media, but they're not going to have to compete with the public. They have their own areas that we're talking
okay,
about.
all right. So, thank you. I was on a plastics call and joined late, but in any case, I like to imagine that there are going to be a lot of people who want to sit there for 4 hours. So I just thought maybe if there were different categories, 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, then people won't get discouraged if there's no slot left.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Senator.
Thank you very much, Sam.
Sure. Any other comments before somebody who's got a great memory is going to make a motion?
I have a question.
Yes,
Support. That's, go ahead.
good. Dave, go ahead.
Hang on a second. I have to find the right document here. Hold on. Okay. So, Margaret, you said that the canvas ballots will be secured in locked containers. Am I correct that those are locked containers at Plumgar?
No, they come back nightly. All the
Okay,
ballots
so-
that are
so-
opened will be trucked back to our location and
Right.
locked in a server, lock into a secure room.
No. So, I'm sorry. I'm having trouble hearing you because of the background noise. So there's a step here that is not in writing, but I guess I understand it. That basically after whatever process they go through at Plumgar, the ballots are returned to the board office, and that's where they will be secured in locked containers.
Yes, Plumgar doesn't have the level of security that we do. So
Oh, yes.
the open ballots that have been unfolded and would be scanned by the high-speed scanners, as I said, would be placed in a secure box, sealed, dated, time, and then tamper tape seal, and then they would be secured here in one of our security areas.
And how do they get when they're transported from Plumgar to the board office?
They're
how is that?
They're transported in a county box truck.
Okay. And are there multiple people? Do they have to be different parties, or how do you decide how that gets done?
Well, first we have to have a truck driver who can drive the truck with the lift, and
Right.
we would select someone who doesn't belong to the same political party as that individual. But when the truck comes back, there will be, since we're duplicating ballots, the blank ballots that we have to use to recreate the web delivery ballots will also be in that truck, and all of the supplies that cannot be secured at Plumgar. Further, when the truck comes back, Michelle and her team members will be coming back with the truck, and it will be unloaded at one of the 4 loading docks and placed and moved into that secure area. So the ballots will be in the custody of the Board
Okay,
of
great.
Election employees.
Thank you for that. Okay, and
Is the driver somebody from staff?
The driver is going to be, it will be a driver that it will be a county employee. I can't guarantee it will always be a Board of Elections staff member because it's a, because of the requirements of using heavy equipment.
Well, and will that person have a counterpart? Will there be 2 or just
Yes,
1?
yes, there will be 2 people in the front of that truck. Whatever the truck driver is, if he's nonpartisan or Republican, Democrat, whoever's sitting in the front with him wearing a mask will belong to a different political party. And the staff will be following the truck down the hill.
oh, okay. So in addition to the whoever's in the truck, there's going to be others who are observing.
Yeah, the county staff.
Right. Excellent. Okay. And then my only other question is that we have all these meeting dates and times, which is very helpful for our scheduling. There have been times in past canvasses where that schedule has changed based on whatever the volume is that we're dealing with. And I guess my question is, do you anticipate that either the canvassing or the meeting of the Board of Canvassers would be potentially, they would be added to in the month of October if there were more ballots received in October than you anticipated?
Well, I don't think there will be any cancellations based on the number of people that I've requested to vote by mail.
Right.
If you recall, during the early canvass of the primary, most of the ballots that came in were pretty clean in the sense that the voters knew exactly what they were doing. They followed the instructions. The most common mistake, as you recall, was the individuals that assigned their ballot, and now I guess that the issue is now resolved. And then the only other one is those individuals that did not sign the oath, and those ballots won't come to you until November 13th because we will be on the phones, just as we were in the primary, trying to get the voter to come in and sign their name.
Okay. So it sounds like what, if I understood correctly, I think I did, that it's unlikely, obviously it's always possible, but it's unlikely that the schedule would change because of the factors that you just said, and that's very helpful. Thank you.
Is any other discussion?
Jerry, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Margaret, do you have enough judges? Are you still looking for judges, or where are you?
No, we do not need any more election judges. We hit the 8,000 mark a couple days ago. We are just like the Red Cross after 9/11. We are not accepting applications. We accept applications with the understanding that they will be utilized in 2022.
Thank you.
Great. Excellent news.
Any other discussion? As I'm looking at Kevin, who's got the memory to make a motion?
Why don't you do a
I
motion?
think I do.
Yeah.
I can try it.
Go ahead, David.
Go ahead, Dave, thanks.
Okay. I'm moving the staff recommendation for the canvas with the additional fact of 2 of the 13 seats will be reserved, one for each county party central committee, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, and that the board is only allowing sign-ups for the first 3 Canvas sessions, October, I don't remember, 6, 13, 10, 6, 10, and 13.
Yes.
And that the sign-ups would be for 2-hour in-person.
That's right.
Now, didn't we also have a standby component?
And media.
I'm sorry, and there will be a waiting list. I think we should just probably let people continue down the list, right? So there's a waiting list if we still are.
Media.
That's already part of it.
That's part of the.
Kevin, I think we have everything in there?
Yes.
Is there a second?
I second.
Naheed, second. Any other discussion?
And this includes the schematic that was included.
What?
This motion does it.
Yeah, and the motion also includes the schematic that Margaret has presented to the board,
Yes.
just for the record.
Yes. Let's include that as part of the staff recommendation.
Okay. All those in favor of David's motion, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, that's good. It's a unanimous approval of the Canvas plan. And Margaret, thank you and the staff again. Kevin, thank you for your advice as always. Thanks to board. The public will have full access to what we're doing. It'll be live streamed. The public will have in-person observation of the canvas and the scanning. And we're going to make this work. This is going to be a safe, secure election, and the voters in our county should have full confidence in what we're doing. It's going to work. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that's it. The next time we get together is October 6th? Yeah. Okay, so October 6th, 10 o'clock at Plumgar, in person or on your Microsoft Teams. Yes?
This is Elise. I have a question for Kevin about the LNA. Is that going to, do you need people on the 5th or not?
Kevin?
One Democrat.
At least that's a good question. Thank you for raising it. We need one Democrat and one Republican who's
Video stream.
I think Naheed agreed to one of them.
to do it via video stream. Do we have 2 volunteers?
Well, but hang on a second. You had 2 different dates at one time, and I think that's part of the question. Which date are we talking about?
It's the 5th, and that's the only one. That's the only public demonstration that needs to be done.
Only on the 5th.
Correct.
I like you saying.
Naheed, did you volunteer for that?
Yes, I did.
And Alan and Elise, who volunteered for the 5th? I don't remember.
I did.
Oh, okay. So Alan's off the hook. Elise and Naheed are on the 5th. Excellent.
And they'll get a note.
Okay.
They'll get a note.
One more date though. We had originally also scheduled on the 19th the board verification of the packing. And so so we need to do that on the 19th. Unlike the past, because we have 255 ballot styles and there's some verification that's going to be required. I need to, Jim said he would be able to do it, so I need a Democrat to do that, to come up here and help us verify that. So a time would be, so if you just want to email me, I'll send an email out for October 19th explaining the verification plan again. And Jim, you're the...
Now we have a meeting on the 19th.
Yes, we do.
Scheduled.
Yeah, we
So
have. That's a good point. We have a board meeting.
Do this before or after, or
Yeah,
what are
we have a
talking
board
about?
meeting.
Okay, if you want to do it before, that's fine. Plan at least an hour.
So,
But we have to. I have to talk to my colleagues and see who's available and all that. I gather that for that you need someone in person.
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right, I'll be here at 1:30 on October 19th, but we'll need a Democrat representative? Okay.
If you just email me, I'll get it scheduled.
I
Elise?
just said you can do, so that's it. I'm not just you.
30 on the 19th.
Was that Alan?
Alan?
Yes.
Yes, that was Alan.
Okay,
You
great.
just need two of us?
Yep, that's all.
Okay, thanks, Alan.
Do you want to meet on both the 19th and the 20th? Or do you want to reschedule the meeting on the 19th for the 20th? I guess, never mind, you're going to have to meet on the 19th in order to do the verification that day.
That's our board meeting.
Canvas on the 20th.
The 19th is a board meeting.
The 19th is our board meeting, the 20th is a Canvas meeting, but they're both by Microsoft Teams.
Right.
I'm fine with doing both. Obviously, depending on what the agenda is.
Well, we got to pack, the election's around the corner, so I think we just have to keep our schedule.
Yeah.
19th is our regular board meeting. Alan and I will be here, or Alan will be, you need Alan in person? Alan, so we'll both be here at 1:30 on the 19th. The rest of us meet at 2:30. And on the 20th,
Video
it's video
of the campus board.
of the Canvas board at 3 o'clock. So we all got that? All right, so we'll see.
Okay, I just want to make sure the meeting on, this is the meeting on the 5th at 11 a.m. is via, Microsoft Teams
Yes,
in person.
yes, it's on Teams.
That's you and Nahid.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to be busy.
People get it.
We're going to be busy, but we'll get through it. Okay. Great meeting. Thank you, everybody. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Wait, can I say something before we adjourn?
Yeah, sure.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. This is Diane. I just want to say quickly, I don't think we mentioned it at the top of the meeting going into public session. But I just want to say that I would hope our thoughts and prayers are with our president and the first lady, given the very important news we learned about the COVID. And I just want to add my thoughts and prayers are for a full and speedy recovery for our president.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Diane.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, so did we have a motion to, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay. All those in favor of adjournment say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Okay, everybody. See you on the 6th. Take care.